Hi, I'm Mrs. Monister, and I am going to be reading Chapter 10, which is titled Nerves. The night before a major undertaking is always a night of anxiousness, and Kona and all of his friends were feeling their share of it. In front of Professor Albert's picture window, Kona was pacing as Gwendolyn read aloud passages from a book that Morton had dropped off. The book's title was Affirmations for the Faint of Heart, and it had much good advice for anyone feeling anxious. There is no fear so great that time with a friend will not soothe, read Gwendolyn. Oh, that's a good one, said Kona, stopping his pacing for a moment. I do feel soothed by being with you, Gwendolyn. And I do with you, said Gwendolyn. Let's continue reading. So that is how Kona and Gwendolyn handled their anxiousness. In the tree they shared, Stumpy and Murray were dealing with their nerves in their own way. Stumpy was rearranging her closets. Tidying always brought a sense of calm to Stumpy, so she dug in and had built quite a big mound of throwaways and another of keepers. It helped tremendously. Everyone was counting on her tomorrow night to open the plug on the tank of the water truck. Stumpy had cracked open probably thousands of black walnuts in her life and could not imagine a water plug tripping her up, but still she was a little anxious, so she tidied. Her 3 children were sleeping like logs. Children are always optimistic, and this unfailingly helps them get a good night's sleep, even with a major undertaking on the calendar. But Murray, like Stumpy, was also up late. He was wide awake and mentally counting all the nests and burrows in the park that would receive the water deliveries tomorrow night. He tried to count them on his toes, but since he had only 10 toes, that didn't last very long. So Murray just closed his eyes, and in his mind he flew from nest to nest, burrow to burrow, to make certain he would not miss a single location. He also ran outside frequently to make sure the lifetime battery in Stumpy's glow-in-the-dark watch was living up to its promise. The watch hung by Stumpy's front door as a porch light, and tonight it glowed as bright as ever. Then Murray popped a powdered donut hole into his mouth and closed his eyes and started counting the babies and the old ones again. In the guest room, Morton was chewing 20 packs of gum. Morton had been asked by Kona to do 2 things: chew 20 packs of gum and be on call tomorrow night in case anyone needed motivating. Morton had felt very capable of doing both, so he chewed an incredible amount of gum while he solved a crossword puzzle, and then he turned in for the night. At Herman's house, everyone was sitting up with Herman as a show of moral support. Herman's mother and 4 sisters did not know any specifics of the master plan, but just because you don't know how to play the game does not mean you can't sit on the sidelines and cheer. Herman was obsessed with timing. With his mathematically inclined chess master brain, he had calculated the time everyone would need tomorrow night, down to the second. It was especially important that Stumpy's timing for opening the water tank plug was accurate, and after observing her open a series of black walnuts, Herman had calculated that she would need 4 seconds to do it. But the children, Top, Bottom, and Sparrow, they were the wild cards. Children are always hard to calculate to the second, no matter what they're doing. That is because they are creative and therefore very easily distracted. Just when a child seems to be settling in quite nicely with a set of crayons and a coloring book, he can suddenly jump up and start marching around and playing his tooty horn. So Herman was very careful to teach the 3 young squirrels to focus. He told them he would never have won a single game of chess without it. Top, Bottom, and Sparrow all admired Herman very much, and they wanted to do their job for him. So they had practiced focus in Professor Albert's kitchen sink, filling it up with water, dunking in the straws, and plugging them with chewing gum on both ends. Herman had timed their efforts and calculated that the children could fill up and plug 30 straws per minute based on volume, proportion, and density of all the babies and the elderly in need of water, enough to last one more month of drought. Herman's final equation equaled a sum of 400 straws. In 13 minutes and 20 seconds, 3 squirrel children should have 400 straws plugged and ready to go. Herman rounded the time up to 13 minutes and 30 seconds to allow for distractions. With 200 elves carrying a straw on each foot over a distance of 1.7 miles from the firehouse to the park, and allowing time for distribution, the entire master plan would be accomplished in 33 minutes and 17 seconds. Herman explained this to his mother and 4 sisters to recheck accuracy. They nodded in encouragement and applauded at the end. Herman went to bed. The team was ready.